welcome to my channel, HNA Adventures. I'm going to do a quick unboxing of the Auxbeam X Pro 3 Series LED pod light that has 6 modes. Alright, looks like the 6 modes are 6500K white, white flashing, 3000K amber, amber flashing, mixed amber plus white, and mixed amber plus white flashing. Alright, so with no further ado, let's open this thing. You are important. Interesting. Alright, you got stickers. Looks like you've got a just a quick troubleshooting installation guide. Stay here. Alright, looks pretty nicely packaged. You've got a wire harness here. You've got one 3-inch pod light. Second pod light. Looks like it's got some pretty nice connectors here. So you don't have to hardwire or solder or twist any wires together. And then it looks like you've got the hardware to bolt it to, in my case, motorcycle. Alright, looks like that's all we've got in here. Alright, no instructions, so I guess we have to figure it out, which I don't think it should be too difficult. Get this out of the way. Let's see what we got here in the wire harness. Looks pretty cut and dry. You've got positive and negative. Looks like you've got a relay here. And then you've got your left and right connectors, as well as a controller. Looks like we've got just on and off, and then you've got a mode button, which I'm pretty sure it's the mode where you can switch between all different settings. And then on the back, nothing too fancy, just two-sided sticky on the back. I'm probably going to put a Velcro strip around my motorcycle handlebar, put a Velcro strip on the back of this, and just stick it, you know, on the handlebar. But anyways, okay, well, that's the unboxing. Next, I'll get into the installation, which I will be installing on my I think you can see in the background, it's Suzuki 2004 DRZ400. Alright, so something that I wanted to point out that I just noticed, if you look at the connectors for the pod lights, I mentioned earlier that, you know, it looks like decent quality, and if you look at the male end, you can see here it's got a rubber seal around here, so it looks to be waterproof, and it does click into place, so you have to push the button here to release it. But something that I did notice is, see how shaky these buttons are? You can hear them kind of rattling. So although the lights, the wire harness might be waterproof, I don't think these are. I don't think this is waterproof. Now, the inside of it might be waterproof. I don't know. There's 2 screws on the back. I may take it apart and waterproof it myself. I just wanted to point out that, you know, if this is going to be sitting out, you know, on your motorcycle and it's sitting up right like this, there's a chance water could leak down in there. So when I mount it on mine, I may mount it, you know, facing me on the handlebar. That way not so much water can get in. All right, so I did take the connector apart. I took 2 screws out, and there's just 2 buttons inside there floating around. And then this is the inside. So it doesn't look like it's really waterproof. There you go right there. I'm gonna be installing it on, this is my 2004 Suzuki DRZ400. I guess it doesn't really matter the year. I don't think the DRZ has changed since 2000 or 2002. So I think the install is going to pretty much be the same on any of the DRZs. So I've got this bracket that's going to sit on the front here. I've got to take the fender off, front fender off to install this. And then it's got holes to mount the auxiliary lights. I'll put a link in the description. Also, I'll put a link of the Auxbeam light that I'll be using. Just real quick on these lights, I'm actually using this for off-roading. We're going to be doing a trip to Mexico in November. I do have an aftermarket light on here that's definitely much brighter than the stock light, but I would like some additional lighting because we're going to be in Mexico. There's not going to be, you know, middle of the desert. There's not going to be any street lights or anything like that. So, you know, I'm just going to use this for off-roading. So before you install these on your motorcycle, I believe they do have a set that is street legal that you can turn on while you're on the street. But I believe this particular set that I have is only for off-road. So just make sure to check, you know, and make sure before you install them, if you use them for street lighting, that you've got the correct one. The 2 pod lights that I'm gonna mount on front. Here's this huge wiring harness that I'm gonna install. I've seen other videos where they've cut the wires to shorten them down, but I don't want to do that because then you end up splicing, soldering your wires back together, and now you just made another weak point in the wire harness. So hopefully there's not much room around the headlight or under the seat or in here to hide wires. So hopefully I don't have to cut these down. Hopefully I can just, you know, tie it up, hide it somewhere on the bike without cutting the cables and, you know, ruining the integrity of the cables. So anyways, so I'm going to remove my bag, remove the seat, the battery is here, remove this panel, it's got the air filter. I'm gonna have to remove my tank and these, I believe these are the radiator cooling fins or radiator protectors. Anyways, I'm gonna have to take all that off because I'm gonna run the wiring harness all the way through from the battery back here, run everything here. So I guess let's get started. Alright, finally got the wire harness through. This is the relay. I was able to use an existing tie down, ran all the wires underneath this subframe, pulled the wires out here. Was barely able to get this plate back on over the battery compartment because of all of the wires that I've got tucked inside there. Now I'm gonna take off the tank. I took the front fairing off because right now I've got the wires bunched up in here, and when you turn you can see it's kind of squishing the wires a little bit, so not too comfortable with that. So I'm gonna run the wires through here and just kind of stick it up here the top with all this other mess. So I was able to put the wires, if you can see, right inside there. Not much space, but there was a lot of wires, but I was able to get that in there. All right, so it looks like, since I have this aftermarket fender, see how it kind of rises up right there? Well, this bracket does not sit flat. All right, got the mount installed. And actually once I tighten up the bolts underneath, it pretty much sucked everything up tight. There's nothing loose here. So then once I mounted these, I had to drill these holes out a little bit bigger so that the bolts would fit in from the pod lights. So just a little tip, look at the brackets here, how it's curved going towards the front. I thought that's the best way to mount it, but it limits the tilt that you can put on it. It stops it right there. So if you notice this other bracket, I've got the curve towards the back, and it actually allows it to tilt further forward. So the problem I was having, let me turn this, was when I mounted this light on here, put it in. When I mounted the light on here, you can see the kind of tilt. So you can tilt it down and tilt it up. You've got some flexibility. But with the mount, the curve going towards the front, when you put it on here, if you look, if you compare, one second, if you can compare the angle of the headlight and the angle of this light, right? And that's as far as you can tilt it. All right, got the lights mounted. So here's where I mounted the control. And just here's what it looks like from the front. There's a little bit extra, the bolt's a little bit long, so I may shave that down just to make it look a little bit cleaner. I don't like all that hanging down, but overall, The lights look pretty good. Okay, so last minute change. Initially in the video, I was going to mount the controller at this location, mounting it vertical to avoid water getting inside the buttons. But after riding or testing it, it was kind of a pain to reach over to hit, the lights in the controller. So I remounted it at this location, and it's with Velcro as well. And it's just easier to get to the controllers while you're driving. So here's what the lights look like. On, white, amber. This is amber plus white. This is white flashing, amber flashing, and white and amber flashing intermittently. I think that's a wrap for tonight. Thanks for watching.